There's one more question coming. If there's anyone in the room, just please raise your hand. But if not, there's one more question from the internet. Dariusz Ciepiela is asking a question. It's addressed to Mr. Nihimowski, but I will provide everyone the conversation. Our guests, now the Warsaw Stock Exchange, they want to create another power exchange, and we have two power exchanges. So we talk about liquidity, market coupling, and in Poland we are in the process of creating another exchange, splitting liquidity into two exchanges. It's sort of against the tide. How do you comment on this process of second exchange being in Poland, despite the fact that one already exists and is well functioning? So maybe Moscow is addressed to you and then because this is worrying for Polish prices of energy maybe in the future and for the functioning of the market. I'm worried as a consumer.
Well, I would say this news about the second exchange, I think if I wouldn't be on my position, yes, I would say that this is something what was created by our PR department in order to bring more attention to us. Because everyone is asking these questions during this forum. I would say we are European-wide in a process which was described here. So the process of mergers, the process of organizing the markets for some inexperienced countries by other countries, like Nord Pool Spot organized the market for Baltic countries, for instance. One exchange for many countries, not many exchanges for one country. And this is obvious. And of course, in the light of everything that was said before, that seems to be complete nonsense. And I'm confident that wouldn't be a case. Especially that so-called Coma law. Probably the most people on the whole in the room knows what I was saying about. So the possibility to develop not only exchange but as well so-called platforms is now coming to see and is coming to the parliament. So I think that OI will seem to be quite an effective and well-working platform, may continue as an effective and well-working platform, and that's it. There is still a room for OTC deals. There is still a room from the so-called platforms, so closer to OTC than the exchange forms of trading, and of course exchange trading everywhere. But probably we didn't say enough here about what is the market coupling about. Market coupling is just connecting two exchanges. So the price, if the capacity of the interconnector is big enough, the price is the same. But it's just like connecting to canisters with water. So the water goes from one to the other, and the price goes to the same. Of course, if the capacity is limited, then this process is stopped at some point. And we need effective and liquid power exchanges in every country to make this process happen. And what we really need in Europe is not a market of a yearly contract, of course, as well, but the crucial is not the market of the yearly contracts or quarterly contracts, but to have the flexibility of the system and to enjoy the synergy between countries. We need to have an effective hourly market. And we can bring it up only with the market coupling. And for this, we need technology alliances between the exchanges, maybe as well some corporate links between exchanges, maybe in the future only few exchanges. I don't believe that this is going to be one exchange, but few exchanges, but not to diversify the liquidity locally, because then we kill something. What we were trying to bring up a year ago, and what was, I think, relatively successful.
Well, regarding this question on numerous exchanges, or at least two in Poland, I think long term it's not sustainable to have more than one exchange. And I mean, if you look upon the experience from Europe, when Germany started 10 years ago, you had two spot power exchanges for this hourly price setting of electricity. And they, after not that long time, they merged into one. And recently also the French and the German, so to say, won the battle in Germany, merged into one entity. So long term, it's not sustainable to have more than one platform because you split the liquidity. We have a similar situation in the UK right now. Bull and Bert and Odin here at Apex, we are running platforms, both of us in UK. It's not sustainable either. In the long term, I think it has to be, the liquidity has to be in one exchange.
Well, we have our experience too. We had two exchanges in the Netherlands as well, and we merged them. Why? Because of this European consolidation upcoming. So I think having more than one exchange in the country could have done and could have been fruitful, I think, many years ago when the European market started. But that at this moment is not constructive because it is, I think we need to consolidate liquidity on one platform and then bundle it even in a more international framework. It's also important to say that, well, commenting on the UK, I think we've been in that market for 10 years with tremendous volumes in gas. We've also traded volumes. I think we have 40 megawatt hour per day, 40 gigawatt hour per day on electricity. We have 10-fold in gas, all on the screen. It's a very liquid market. Commenting on something else, I think you need exchanges that are specializing in energy. I think if you look at the exchanges that are successful, I think notable spot, especially ourselves, TGE here, Energie, also the German and French exchanges, they're all specializing in the energy field because you have to know the energy business. It is so that's another characteristic of this market. And so it's not for me to comment especially on anything in Poland, but I think this is an internationalizing market. You need, I think, a strong partner here, like TGE, to coordinate with the exchanges from other countries like ourselves, Local Spot, and the German French exchange.
Question to Mr. Boschik. The competences are split between FSA and the energy market regulator. Shouldn't it be the case that both regulators sit together and say, let's do what is best for Poland, let's not start this war who has more liquidity? Because this is going in the wrong direction. What's your view on this?
Well, this is the case. It's happening because the cooperation of the regulators, I've mentioned that answering the previous question, it should be enforced, and it takes place, actually. It takes place. So we talk with the Polish regulator, I'm talking with the Swedish regulator, with Norwegian, we have the board of regulators within the ACES structures. There is no problem with that. The problem is, let's say, the effectiveness of the cooperation, but we are at the very early stage of it. And but we all are, let's say, I guess we all are responsible people. We try hard to cooperate as much as it is possible in the benefit of the customers and in the benefit of the market, saying in general. But referring to the last question of the let's say, Polish market splitting between two pockets, behind the issue of splitting the liquidity, behind the issue of unsustainable solution of it, there is an issue of what we call a single market price generator that we as a regulator we want to have. Let us remember that the Polish market is still not fully liberalized, and the Polish regulator is ahead of a decision to let's make or to withdraw itself from the price regulation of the last segment which is left. I mean, especially households. And I'm afraid that what we tried tried hard recently, and we still do, is to find the objective commodity price in that country in order to both regulate effectively DSOs and then make a responsible decision to make the whole market free from regulation. And I'm afraid that we will have to think, if the situation comes, of course, it's real, and we have to think what to do. Maybe we as a regulator, we shall delay the possible date of full market liberalization in a case of having more than one market that gives us the objective information on the price of the electricity. This is our concern from the regulatory point of view, and I guess it should be emphasized.
Thank you. We should keep fingers crossed for a good solution, good for the consumer. Because delaying certain decisions will lead to lower investments and higher likelihood of blackouts.